Hey there, welcome back to another video. This time around, it is my review of the 1988 Hong Kong action thriller On the Run. Now, before I get around to sharing more of my thoughts on this film, I want to give a special shout out to Travis for requesting this review. And if there's another film, TV show, or topic that you would like to see me discuss in the future, feel free to donate to my PayPal. The link will be in the video description down below, and I'll try to get to it as soon as I possibly can. Now, On the Run is a film that I knew absolutely nothing about until I got this request. And I will say this. It was worth at least one watch for a couple of the performances, some of the action, but I didn't really care for this film. I felt that the script was honestly so mean-spirited and bleak to the point where it felt like it was a parody or it was hard to take seriously. And it just wasn't that engaging of a plot, despite the fact that there was potential for it to be engaging or more interesting. The direction, though, isn't really a problem by Alfred Cheung. I would say the direction is probably, other than the acting from the two leads, the most consistently good thing about this movie. It's a well-directed film. It's got a nice usage and utilization of different sort of techniques when it comes to the camera work. I think it's got some good establishing shots. I think the sequences that do involve shootouts or some kind of action sequence, I think they are shot in a way where the action feels like it has some real impact, and the blows feel like there's some weight behind them, and the shootouts are definitely shot in a stylish way, as is a lot of the settings in terms of the city streets or the apartment complexes. And I think there is a good use of lighting when it comes to the direction in this film. The writing, though, by Alfred Cheung and Keith Wong, I don't think this is the best script. And the biggest reason for that is its over-the-top bleakness. This is one of those movies where you have a lead character who's just constantly dumped on. He's just always in the worst possible position for the majority of the movie. This character named Huang Ming. And it's to the point where, to me, it was comical, and it almost felt like the writers knew some guy named Huang Ming in real life and decided to write this movie as an excuse just to torture the guy. I'll show him. I'll show him, and I'll write this movie, and I'll put this guy through hell. And I don't know if it's a political thing or not. I'm not necessarily familiar with politics around this time in Hong Kong. But even if it was, it just gets to the point where it's excessive. And here's what I mean. Hung Ming, early on in the movie, his wife gets shot and killed. Then the assassin, the person that killed his wife, then winds up being handcuffed to him, and they're on the run together. In the process of all of this happening, his mom gets shot in the fucking eye and dies. He then gets shot twice. And if that isn't bad enough, then he's now a criminal. He's associated with this woman that shot his wife, and he's also a target of this corrupt cop. And his life is basically fucked. And the one thing that he has left is like his daughter. And near the end of the movie, even his daughter gets shot and killed. So his wife gets shot in the head. His mom gets shot in the eye and through the back of her head. His daughter gets shot and killed in the back while he's trying to run away from the corrupt cops. And then he gets a little semblance of revenge on these corrupt cops by the end of the movie. But just as he's given the coffin that he's going to bury his little girl in, and he's going to go off on a boat, try to find a burial plot, the movie ends with a text crawl that says that he and the assassin chick got arrested and now they're serving life sentences. I laughed my ass off at the ending of this movie because I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, what is next for this guy? Is he gonna get struck by lightning? Is he gonna get drawn and quartered? I like, what the hell? So yeah, this poor man, even the revenge feels hollow because of the fact that he loses everything, and he still just goes to jail for the rest of his life anyway. And if you did like the character of Chui Pai, the girl, the assassin, well, they revealed that she essentially shot his wife for the money, and so she's not really that good of a person or good of a character in terms of her morals or anything like that. So she's not that likable. And then she goes to jail anyway, along with the lead guy. The corrupt police precinct, there were some people that were killed by the end of the movie, but, as corrupt police precincts are, it's just going to continue. And there'll be someone else who will come in and take the place of the other corrupt policeman. So it just seems like a very hopeless and just overly bleak movie when it comes to the script. And it also has issues with the tone. Like, there are moments where it seems like it's trying to be comical with the actions of some of the cops or the criminals that are going after the two leads. There's this one guy who always has this weird twitch. And there's even a scene where the corrupt cops are playing cards and they're sitting around a table and they're laughing maniacally like it's a cartoon. We totally, absolutely destroyed the life of Huang Bang. I was just like, what? And then there's another problem with this writing in the finale where Huang Ming, he's got a gun, or he's got a machete. He's got a machete. He cuts this one guy's hands off, and the guy takes forever to die. And then there's this other guy who's just constantly a blabbermouth. Oh, no, don't do it, don't do it, no, no. And you're like, shut up and die already. So, didn't care for that approach from the writing, where people were just talking way too much during this scene that's supposed to be tense, where Huang Ming's going to get his revenge on the people that wronged him. And there's this one guy who's just being an annoying blabbermouth and won't shut the hell up. And then, of course, you have the stuff with the girl. And it's kind of, it seems like he gets over the fact that she shot his wife in the head way too quickly. Like, I thought that might be an interesting dynamic in terms of exploring how he's got to learn to coexist with the woman that killed his wife in order to survive and live another day and save his daughter and save what's left of his life. But he has an initial angry reaction to her to the point where he's even just smacking her around. But then after that, it's all fine. And it's almost like he's kind of fallen for her. And it's just weird and just not really good when it comes to the quality of writing for his reactions to what's going on with this assassin Pai. Yeah, he slowly warms up to her, and she warms up to him, and it's like, this doesn't feel earned because it happens too fast. And then on top of that, even if it was earned, well, they both go to jail anyway for life, so none of it even matters. So yeah, I don't like this script. Other than some intriguing dynamics, like the corrupt cops, and how this innocent man is caught up in all of this, and how he has to team up with the woman that killed his wife, and some of the other quirks, like how the film is actually pretty dang violent. Like, there's a lot of really violent shootouts in this where people get shot in the eye numerous times or in the head. Had the bit with the machete where a guy gets his hands cut off. Um, so a lot of the action, when it is there, it definitely does have that extra edge, that extra brutality to it that does help the film stand out and make it feel a little bit more real and raw. But it's too raw, because they get taken under custody by the end of the movie, and all the effort to them being on the run feels like it really wasn't worth much of anything. And then also, for a film called On the Run, there there are scenes where they're running away from the corrupt cops, but there's not really anything in terms of an exciting, thrilling chase. Like, you would think there would be like maybe an extended foot chase, or a car chase, or a motorcycle chase. And there is a scene where they are on a motorcycle, but it's very short. So I'm like, okay, for a film called On the Run, they're not really technically on the run that much. A lot of it's just them hiding in an apartment, hiding somewhere else, not necessarily running. So even for a film called that, it just doesn't really feel like it fits. So yeah, it's just a disappointing story and an overall script. I didn't really think it was that good. And I know this film, it's like a 7 out of 10 on IMDb. I've seen reviews say it's like one of the best neo-noir Hong Kong thrillers ever, and I'm like, I respectfully disagree. And I feel bad for the cast, because they're very capable here. I would say the two main leads, Yuen Biao and Pat Ha, those two are the ones that definitely do have the best performances. Even though the two characters, there's really not the best reasons why they learned to coexist so quickly. I did feel that those two had good chemistry. Um, and they did the best that they could with what was there. I mean, there's only so much that UN can do with a character that's such a dumped on, shat on character who gets shot numerous times, loses everybody he loves, and then goes to jail for the rest of his life. Um, Pat Ha, I felt that she had a little bit more to work with in terms of her character, different sort of dynamics and different sort of subtleties, or uh, layers to the character when it comes to the cold assassin part of her, and then the part of her that actually cares for UN and wants to be there for his daughter. You have a good villain that you definitely do love to hate and want to see him get his ass kicked in Charlie Chin, who plays Superintendent Lieh. Um, and I would say those three are the ones that have the most screen time and have the most impact. And there's a few other performers like Lieh as a hissy, Phillip Ko as the no hands policeman, Yuen Wah as a cowardly policeman. Didn't care for that performance. That's the sniveling, just blabbermouth that would not shut up in the film's final few scenes. Idy Chan as his Inspector Lo Huan. Uh, um, Lee Huang Kam is Huen's mother. Bowie Lam is Johnny. He was actually in Hard Boiled. He was the partner of Tequila, who gets killed early on in the movie. This is definitely no Hard Boiled. Um, and it's just one of those casts that, yeah, they're good, decent enough, but it just seems like they're not really able to be the best that they can be because of the limitations of the script and the story. The film also features some cinematography by Peter Nagore and is edited by Yu Shun. And for a film that's like relatively taking place in like the same location most of the time, it does look nice. It has a nice, slick, stylish, neon, neo noir look and feel to it. The editing, I think, is definitely at its best when it comes to the various different sequences involving a shootout or fighting or a duel of sorts with machetes, you know, that kind of stuff. And for it's a film that's only 88 minutes, it does have pacing problems, I will admit, and a lot of it just comes down to the script. It comes down to the fact that it's not consistently engaging when it comes to the plot, and the characters aren't necessarily the most deep or intriguing or likable most of the time. Uh, and it just feels like they don't really do everything that they can possibly do with this story and with these characters, and in order to make this a strong, memorable thriller. Like, it doesn't really provide a whole lot of thrills because the stakes, even though they should feel like they're high, because everything's just so over the top bleak in terms of how the guy just constantly is getting a raw deal, it just becomes desensitizing. Like, you get to the point by the end of the movie and you're like, oh, okay, he got sent to jail for the rest of his life. Okay, that's just laughable. And on top of that, it just makes everything feel pointless. Like, what was even the point of the entire movie if it all just ends and culminates with him going to jail for the rest of his life anyway, along with the assassin? Oh, he gets a little bit of revenge. And I think the point is probably to show the price of revenge and how it's not worth the price you pay, and so on and so forth. And that's probably one of the reasons why it gets considered to be one of the most raw and gritty and realistic thrillers when it comes to Hong Kong thrillers or action films from this time. And I get what they're trying to go for, but it's just done in such a way that's not subtle in any capacity, and honestly, not even that clever, that it just feels like it's overkill. It really does. Uh, Instead of On the Run, you should call this film Overkill. Because this entire movie is just overkill. Like, the poor guy. Like, leave him alone. The guy's been through enough. For fuck's sake. Like I said, it's like, what did some Huang Ming bang the writer's girlfriend or some shit? It's just the level of just crap that this guy gets put through, and how much he gets put through the grinder in this movie is unreal. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say about the movie. I know I haven't said a whole lot about it, but it's because there's not much to this film. Like, there's some nice stylish direction at times, some good use of lighting. Definitely does have some brutal and intense and violent action sequences involving people getting shot in the eye, and it's all done practically. And there are some elements when it comes to the story or the characters that show promise, but they don't live up to their full potential. And it just feels like a very pointless kind of waste by the end of the movie when it comes to how everything culminates and how everything ends. And then you have these little annoying things that kind of bring it down to, like the blabbermouth guy who won't shut up at the end of the movie, and other little things involving the tone of the film that just feel off. And it just leads to a film that just to me personally, just isn't really a satisfying whole or that satisfying of a movie. And it's a thriller that really doesn't provide that much thrills. So that's just my thoughts on the run. And until next time, as always, I'll see you later. See ya.